Now that The Last of Us Season 1 on HBO has finally concluded, we can start talking about the next season. It has already been officially confirmed as of writing today's video that The Last of Us will be getting a second season, and most likely a third one as well. HBO's hit live-action series based on Naughty Dog's acclaimed video game series wrapped up its first chapter in March of 2023, but this is just the beginning of the story, as The Last of Us Part 2 is basically double the size of the original. This means that the next season is most likely only going to cover half of the second game, so it looks like a third season is basically guaranteed.
What am I even eating?
That is 20-year-old Chef Boyardee ravioli.
That guy was good.
I actually agree.
The Season 1 finale saw Joel finally bring Ellie to the Fireflies and set her up to figure out the cure. However, after realizing that the only way a cure could be made would kill Ellie, Joel went on a rampage to get her back. He kills basically everybody in the hospital just to get his baby girl out, and he does so successfully. Surprisingly, though, he lies to Ellie and said that something else happened entirely, and he barely just got out of there alive.
Because infected will see the smoke.
No, fungus isn't that smart. This is too remote for infected anyway.
This sets up so much for a second season and goes directly into the events of The Last of Us Part 2. Well, before the Season 1 finale, HBO gave us The Last of Us Season 2 renewal, with the assurance that the series will adapt Part 2. We're going to be getting at least 2 more lengthy seasons of the show, and we absolutely cannot wait to see what's coming next. But what is coming next exactly? And how is it set up in the first season?
Well, theirs was a lot fresher than what Bill saved up, but yeah, this is what they sold.
Well, stay tuned to today's video and we'll discuss how The Last of Us Part 1 finale sets up everything for a second season. It's going to be an awesome one, so please stay tuned. One of the simplest and coolest parts of The Last of Us Part 2 is Ellie's relationship with Joel.
70 West for like ever.
Where in Wyoming did you say your brother was?
It's obviously a huge factor in the first game, but because Ellie is out on her own away from Joel, it makes their relationship much deeper. Throughout The Last of Us Part 2, we get to see Ellie playing the guitar. She plays it surprisingly well, as it was revealed that Joel actually taught her how to play between the two games. Early on in the Season 1 finale of The Last of Us, Joel mentions that he wants to teach Ellie how to play the guitar. Joel finds a broken guitar off-screen and talks to Ellie about how he would love to teach her it. She of course agrees, which would set up what's going to happen in the next season. There are many moments in The Last of Us Part 2 where you can sit down, camp up, and just play the guitar. They are really amazing moments and show how phenomenal of a player Ellie truly is. It really brings home to what Joel was like before the incident. This could also lead to a recreation of the opening scene of The Last of Us Part 2. During The Last of Us Part 2, we get a scene of Joel playing an amazing song for Ellie. The finale for The Last of Us Part 1, HBO directly foreshadows this emotional musical component of The Last of Us Part 2. We would not be surprised if the second season starts to implement these, or might even open up with one. The opening sequence of Last of Us Part 2 shows Joel playing Pearl Jam's Future Days to Ellie, showing how much she means to him. It's such a heart-wrenching moment and becomes even sadder when you see what happens later on in the game. The first season of the series has many moments like these for a second season, so we can't wait to see them on screen. Speaking of can't wait to see something on the screen, the final moments of The Last of Us Season 1 set up the major villain for Season 2. The major story of The Last of Us Part 2 is a group of people hunting down Joel and killing him. This happens at the start of the game and sparks the entire story for the rest of it. We see one side of things, where Ellie tries to get revenge, and the other side, where the killer of Joel is just trying to live her life. Without spoiling way too much about the series, it's a very interesting storyline, and one that divided fans when it came out. There are of course going to be a lot of changes to try and smooth things out, but that's not something to discuss in today's video. The thing to discuss is why these people were after Joel in the first place. And that all comes in during the hospital scene, when Joel heads through the hospital to try and save Ellie. He goes into the surgery room and does not hesitate to kill the lead surgeon. It might not seem like a huge major character death for viewers who are not familiar with the second game, but this unnamed doctor is actually heavily important and sparks the plot for the next season. We are introduced to the doctor's daughter, Abby, as the main villain of The Last of Us Part 2. She and the rest of her group are trying to get revenge for what happened in the hospital, as they are ex-Fireflies. Abby is determined to try and get revenge for what happened and try to find the rest of the people responsible for her father's death. The bulk of what goes on with Abby's story will most likely be saved for a third season. The second season will most likely follow a grown-up Ellie trying to figure out what went down.
We can trade with you guys. We can be friends. I didn't know. I'm Brian.
We obviously can't spoil everything, as it would ruin the show, but this is a very integral point going forward. This one scene changed the story forever and completely sets up what happens in the next game. We cannot wait for it to be adapted, as we hope they make some significant changes to make it much better. Finally, let's talk about the final moment of the first season. The ending scene of HBO's The Last of Us sets up the dynamic between Joel and Ellie in the next season. The two are finally approaching Jackson, and Ellie finally questions Joel about if he told her the truth about the Salt Lake City incident. You can tell that she doesn't believe the story that he gave and is very suspicious of Joel.
Wait.
Joel doubles down and says everything he said was the truth, and Ellie continues with the iconic line, "Okay." For years now, fans have speculated what this word meant to Ellie, as it was also delivered the same way in the game. But to us, it just means that she's accepting the lie and going forward with it.
No. I'm sorry. Please. We can just talk. I'm sorry. Please. No, please.
The two of them have gone to great lengths to save each other and developed a strong bond throughout the first season. This distrust at the end of the season is going to be built upon throughout the next one as well. This should mean that the dynamic between the two is a little less playful as she continues to question what really happened in Salt Lake City.
There's some stuff against the door.
Can you move it?
Their dynamic is explained through various flashbacks in The Last of Us Part 2. We aren't going to spoil what Ellie truly feels towards the end and how she sees Joel, but let's just say it's going to be interesting.
Let's get a better look.
Hoping we spot a clear route out.
It was also recently confirmed in an interview with GQ that there was an extended filming of that final moment. Ellie walks away from Joel a little bit as they head towards Jackson, which could have set up further how their dynamic is completely changed. And that's the end of today's video. We hope you enjoyed it.